Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. Someone said, we can all agree she's a clear example of an industry plant, right? Someone quote retweeted and said, don't even listen to her, but hasn't she been trying to have a music career since 2016 or something? That's a pretty unsuccessful industry plant. Someone else quote retweeted this and they said, guys, industry plants don't come from Missouri. They're LA County indie artists whose parents' names are both in blue on the Wikipedia page. So I looked up what an industry plant is again. This is off Wikipedia, and so it says, industry plant is a pejorative used to describe musicians who become popular through nepotism, inheritance, wealth, or their connections in the music industry rather than on their own merits. Artists described as industry plants often present themselves as independent and self-made and are alleged to have their public images manufactured for them by record labels. And they cite Clairo as an example because apparently she acted like she was an indie artist and signed and, was really on her way up and all those things. And basically her dad had something in that. So she got caught for that. And that's basically what an industry plan is. My main response to this is I just feel like people call anyone an industry plant nowadays. Whenever someone blows up that you weren't paying attention to, all of a sudden they were an industry plant. And I feel like a lot of times people use this for someone that they don't particularly care for instead of saying, where was I? That happens to me a lot of the times. That's what I find out about these new people is because they have a song or album that's really good. And I didn't happen to know about their stuff before. And then I look at their stuff before. It's like they've really been grinding for years. And sometimes people come out and they are just really that successful. I mean, Oliviarodrigo had All I Want, that was a cute moment. And then she had Driver's License, which was her real debut single. And I mean, she's been on a high trajectory ever since. Mariahcarey, whenever she first debuted, her first song was number one, Vision of Love. She had 3 more number ones off of that album. The album sold 15 million worldwide. She got 2 Grammys off of that album. And her career, 19 number ones and everything she's been able to do. Like any chart accomplishment or any award, Mariah Carey probably has it. And so I think it's really stupid to say that just everybody is an industry plant because number one, it's not true. And number two, you're using the term incorrectly because most people agree that an industry plant really is just somebody who claims to be on an indie label and they're really not. And they have people pumping them and all this stuff. But, I wanted to know, does it matter to you if someone is an industry plant? Like if you find that out, is that something that is going to make you look at them differently? And do you really care about all that stuff? Some people said Billieeilish was an industry plant. I don't really know. And I don't really care because I like her music. Another thing that bothers me is whenever people act like labels promoting their artist is also equivalent to being an industry plant. Like, what do you expect labels to do? That's what they're supposed to do, is put out singles and albums and get the artists out there to do a music video and live performances and all those things. I think that there can be some shady tactics involved, and I think that some people are definitely put out to kind of make sure that other artists have a fall off because they have a dispute with the label. Like, think about Megan Thee Stallion and Erica Banks. I'm pretty sure that they just signed her because Megan Thee Stallion left that label and they were mad about it, and I'm pretty sure Erica Banks just went double cardboard. So, she's nothing to worry about. And so labels definitely do that sometimes to kind of get back at the artist. I will say that, but it's just really a case-by-case basis. I will say I don't like the whole thing of the industry plant, just in the sense that you're not being honest about how your career really started. Like, don't act like, you had to come out the mud and all that stuff whenever you know that someone's backing you and you're not going to have the same experiences as other artists. That does irritate me, but if I enjoy the music, I can allow it, so I will say that. And so I just wanted to talk about people being in the industry, having connections to the fame, how I feel about that, people who have benefited off of nepotism and, the positives and stuff like that. So someone who had connections in the industry is definitely J-Lo, because before she became a singer, I say that very loosely, she was an actress and she was also a dancer. She danced in one of Janet Jackson's videos and she blew up because of the Selena movie, as we know. And so basically the entire reason why J-Lo has a career is because Mariah Carey was married to Tommy Mottola and he was the head of Sony at the time. And so she divorced him and he was really mad about that, and he's a horrible person. Like, he really put her through it. Like, he's very controlling of her career, personal life. Read her book and you'll see. And so after she divorced him, he wasn't having it. And so she was still on the label at the time because she hadn't fulfilled the amount of albums that they wanted her to do. They didn't count the Christmas album, so she wasn't able to leave until after she released her Rainbow album in 1999. So he started messing with her promotion a lot and stuff. So there's something there. He couldn't do too much because she was still on the label at the time. And so he signed J-Lo and he also signed Jessica Simpson. Jessica Simpson, he tried to make Britney 2.0 and it didn't work. And so she was eventually able to find her own success and do her own thing. And then with J-Lo, he just really put a lot into her and stuff in just terms of getting her connected with the right people and all of those things. And so I think her first album came out the same year Rainbow came out, 99, something like that. And so one of the controversies that JLo has faced in her career is the fact that she takes other people's vocals and she credits it as her own. And so this has happened multiple times, and I've heard people say, oh, other people use background singers on a song. It's different because the singers are actually credited, and you can differentiate their voice a lot of times from the background singer, and when they get live, they sound like the record. JLo, a lot of times, is taking credit for other people's records. Like, how are you going to try to take credit for Brandy's voice? Brandy has a very distinct voice, and so there's just like a lot of stories like that. Dante Moore had a song basically, and they wanted the song, she wouldn't give them the song, so they basically just rewrote the same song for JLo. And so there's a part there. And so basically whenever Mariah got to the Glitter album, she had this idea to sample a song, Firecracker, for it, and so Tommy found out about that and he gave that to JLo. So she used that for her song I'm Real, and she had another song she did with Ja Rule. He got JLo to work with Ja Rule for the movie that she had planned to do for it. He basically made it to where the script was a really watered down version of what she wanted to do. She only had so much control and everything because somehow he was able to oversee that situation as well. And that's even mentioned on the I'm Real remix. JLo's mouthing the N-word because somebody else is singing it. But I mean, really, you're not even black. And so there's something there. There's just a lot of stories about JLo and how she's wronged people in the industry and all those things. And so I'm going to put it on her because at a certain point, you could have said no and you could have walked away, and you did it to a certain degree. And part of it is on Tommy Mottola as well. I definitely will acknowledge that and everything. But I mean, yeah, he really tried to ruin Mariah's career and everything. And that's why JLo has a career. And so don't sit up here and try to tell me that JLo can sing, because we all know that she can. If you haven't, go listen to this video of her trying to cover a Barbra Streisand song. It is absolutely horrible. She messes up the note, and then she's like, I'm sorry, it hurt you guys, it hurt me too, something around there. So just her career, the way that she came up and wronged people in the industry, her music is not that good. Don't really get why people go up for her. She doesn't have talent when it comes to singing, and I think that we can all agree on that. To this day, I don't understand why, if Tommy Mottola was going to try to bring up the new Mariah, then why wouldn't you get somebody who has talent and who could actually sing, and you pick JLo? It was all about the imaging with her and the videos and all that stuff. Her last album just tanked, and yeah, I do not go for her at all. Somebody who benefits from nepotism, we have Miley Cyrus, and so as we know, Billy Ray Cyrus is her father, and so I forget how old I was whenever I learned this, but I mean, she became more successful than him. You know, he had that hit, Achy Breaky Heart, and you think he had like a moderate successful career. Miley got Hannah Montana, and you know, he was on there with her, but I mean, she paved the way, hit after hit after hit on Disney Channel. And you know, she was even releasing her own albums at the time, having hits like See You Again, for example. I mean, that was just a bop and a half. The Hannah Montana soundtracks, the movies, the seasons were eating. And then whenever she left Disney, she had that whole moment with Wrecking Ball and We Can't Stop, and there's the whole controversy there, and she definitely has to be held accountable and stuff like that for basically just using the black community to a certain degree and all those aesthetics and stuff like that. And then whenever she's done with it, you know, she said some offensive things, and she's apologized for that, so I can at least appreciate that. But I mean, she must be held accountable. I will say though, at least whenever she was in her black era, she ate. Because to me, there is nothing worse that whenever you try to appropriate someone's culture and the song is bad. Now you have offended people and you didn't eat. But Miley ate whenever she was in her black era. I'm sorry. Bangers had hit after hit after hit. And so then, you know, she went back white again with her album Younger Now. And Miley had flopped for years and years. And then Plastic Heart, she started making the come up. And then we had Endless Summer Vacation and Flowers and all that stuff and whatever. Some people were like, oh, I'm so surprised that the Doctor song with the royal flops. I'm like, Miley's been flopping for years before this. Where have you been? Like, she just started getting successful again. She had flop after flop after flop. I forgot to mention she had Dead Pets, and that album flopped, and I haven't even listened to it, even though I'm a fan of her, because I just don't hear good things. One of my friends who's listened to it, he's like, I don't think that you would like it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not really gonna do it. And so, yeah, her career has been interesting, and so I love Miley Cyrus. She's very talented as a singer. She's coming to her own as a songwriter. Her sense of style and, you know, her presence and her star power, it has to be studied. It has to be studied. So yeah, she had her foot through the door because her dad was famous, but I mean, Miley, I think she's just one of those people who's going to be famous anyways. She put in her hard work, she put in her time, and she gave us hits. So I mean, I have to give her respect. Gracie Abrams is another person who benefits from nepotism. So I actually found out about this because my sister is a huge fan of Gracie Abrams, and so I was looking her up on Wikipedia, and then her dad's name was in blue. Her dad is J.J. Abrams. I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Because no shade, I don't like her music. I don't get it. I don't get the hype. But I mean, to me, she kind of just sounds like a watered version of Taylor Swift. And so, yeah, I know she's on Taylor Swift and people like her and it is what it is. But, seeing that, I'm like, it makes so much sense. And a Gracie Abrams, I don't know if she would be to the degree of fame that she has if she didn't have a dad who was J.J. Abrams. And he worked in like Star Wars and stuff like that. And that's his connection. And so I think to a certain degree you have to have a level of talent and hard work and all those things to pay off. But I mean, I think it gave her a leg up in a way that Miley, I think, like I said, she would have been successful anyways because she is just super talented. So I think it's a different thing. So overall, do you care if people are industry plants or they benefit from nepotism or they have a leg up in the industry and all of those things? I think to me, a few things matter. Number one, do you have the talent to back it up? Do you have the charisma? Are you nice to your fans? Like, are you just someone I would want to root for before I even knew these things or after I found out these things? And like, how do you treat other people? Because there's some people, they like come up in that way and it's like it kind of feels like they don't really know what hard work is because you didn't have to work for your career. And I think that there is a sense of like entitlement and ignorance there and stuff. So I think it just kind of depends to me on your talent level and how you rose to fame and your music and you as an overall artist. But I mean, if I find out someone benefits from nepotism, am I going to stop listening to them? No, because I love Miley Cyrus. I just gave you an example there. So I mean, I think there's degrees to it. But like I said, stop calling everybody an industry plant that you don't like that gets successful or that you haven't heard of and get successful. People get successful every day. There's songs with billions of streams that I've never heard. Does that negate the success of the song because I haven't heard it? No, I just haven't heard it. It wasn't my moment. I didn't hear about it, and so I could go on and on. Songs and albums that I haven't heard, maybe it was before my time, maybe I didn't listen to it now. There's always going to be people who support these artists, and every artist is going to have their moment. Every dog is going to have its day. Look at Sabrina Carpenter. She's doing great things now, and she's on the come up. So, congratulations to her. Ultimately, there's many ways to have a career and gain success. It all depends on the way that you do it, your fan base, your music, and just so many different things. But also public image is everything. So it just really depends. And so let me know what you guys think about this, and let's continue that conversation down below in the comments.